Welcome back after the break.
Thank you.
I hope are enjoying. Next up, our panel is on prioritizing cybersecurity. The panel comprises of C-level executives, chief information officers, chief security officers. The panel is going to be moderated by Mr. Abdul Qadir. Abdul Qadir, over to you.
Thank you very much. And great Global Digital Summit and CISO and obviously Mr. Kawal Masroor. I'm just asking if Jawad joined or not yet. Anyways, thanks. And I'm actually grateful for the forum, and especially Kawal Masroor and for arranging this level of its Global Digital Summit. It's a huge and enormous effort. And thanks for giving me part of bit of and also moderating a panel of level of eminent speakers here. So first of all, I would like to introduce my dear, actually looking after the as a group CISO of the operation, which is the one and I believe biggest Congress of Pakistan. He is very distinguished member of security leadership forums. Previously, he has served with leading telecom and have a great role in its landscape. Other fellow panelists who would be joining Jawad, who is very experienced and thorough gentleman, a great friend, who has been associated with many financial sector organizations role, having in-depth in assisting organizations for digital trust security. Currently, Jawad is working so Askari Bank Limited. Apart from that, also a chairman cybersecurity Pakistan Banking Association, very key role, and chairmanship of cybersecurity forum. And my other who would be joining us in is advisory board member of CISO Global, champ of the insurance industry. His name is Mr. Ashfaque. He is CIO EFU Limited and playing an instrumental role in managing IT and obviously security portfolio. And he is also one of the key stakeholders of the InsurTech. But not least, my dear young friend, Mr. Azam, very visionary and diversified professional, having experience in cybersecurity strategy, planning, testing, risk and compliance. Vast experience. He is currently serving Azam Bank Limited as, and so imagine the key roles we have. This is the name always to digital summit. So it is mainly related. Topic is mainly related to the prioritizing cybersecurity, and cybersecurity is what? COVID-19 has really changed our. Instead of having this conference fully in person, and in person we are doing it on a purely digital and virtual norm globally. Every organization in this world is using for core business operation. This pandemic has accelerated this, not only called as normal implementation, but the digitalization, digital transformation, and new ways of working more towards critical business. Organization afford in the failure of their cybersecurity. The regulator concerned on cybersecurity of their relevant industry. We have multiple cybersecurity regulations, guidelines, directives related to Bank of Pakistan. And now PTA are very active in cybersecurity initiatives. So therefore, based on my preamble, security competency and skill set really a need of the time. As I am working for technology and cybersecurity industry for 20 more years, saying that I am a student of cybersecurity. And now that's because the cybersecurity is a need of time, cybersecurity leaders have to provide trust and confidence that organizations are protected and delivering the true value. So based on it, I would my each fellow panel member expressing your views regarding cybersecurity evolution world in terms of block, its value, its priorities, and being forced today for digital world. I would request first Mr. Mehzad to his views, if for you, and then like Jawad, and then Fahd or Ashfaque, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Abdul Qadir, for such a nice introduction and opening this wonderful session. And so, as you mentioned, this is the age where actually post-COVID age, where a lot of digitization already happened due to the pandemic. So that is the positive side of pandemic. And based on that, whatever was sluggish and was not happening got the attraction and traction to be digitized. However, no matter this digitization happened, we should not forget one thing, that all this happened during panic. So there is a fair chance, while giving access to people in the name of VPN or in the name of enabling their work at home or work from home policy, a lot of security might be ignored. But what we strongly believe, enough time already spent, and now it is no more a optional stuff. It has become part of our routine. So there is a need, and the mature company, they have already realized to consider both scenarios, work from home and working directly from the office, where equally, it is being considered that similar security control being exercised at office should be available at home with the different challenges. Of course, you can't secure as you can secure at the office, because you remain at the mercy of home Wi-Fi and other operators are available. However, there is a confusion, like whatever is a sin or not accessible at office should be able to access at home. So these type of like content filtration policies, so that should be balanced. So offline and online content filter policy should be synchronized. And so if pandemic is over, there is need actually to make sure these controls remain balanced on both sides, so that whether you bring your machine, which is, let's say, at home, might be used by your wife, your kids, so you should not bring mass while joining office, and vice versa. So in that case, what we believe the priority here is the security importance has been increased, and we need to prioritize our monitoring capabilities, our prevention capabilities. The traditional controls will not work. So sometime before, I remember people were just happy having SOC and SIEM solutions with 24/7, which were mostly talking about server level security. But I think with this type of hybrid mode, where your endpoints are not mostly totally under your control, there is need to actually introduce some more additional layers, for example, in the form of EDR, the endpoint detection response, which only rely on the abnormal behavior of our endpoint, not necessarily on the typical antivirus signature, updates. So while having this combination, we can prioritize the security, and we can give assurance to top management that no matter people are working at home or they're working from office, the security equation still remain very much balanced. Second thing is, which is more important, that the importance of security awareness has been increased. So maybe, yes, earlier we were just talking about mostly phishing coming through emails. Now, most of the chat, for example, is happening not through email, but actually through WhatsApp. So now phishing is entering through WhatsApp. There are social engineering attacks with the help of voice phishing attacks. So we call it technically phishing. So you may receive a call from an automated tool and which can try to make you to get your PIN and these type of threats. We are even exploring in order to enhance the security awareness level of people, not only emphasizing on phishing, but threats in the new world nowadays they may come directly from USB drive. So there is a way like you can do even USB spray and then you can see like just while spending only like 1,000 rupees per USB, and then you spray at office and you just want to check the response of people, whether everyone is so hungry and ambitious to go and insert such USB in their devices. And of course, it can open multiple threats on your machine, whether it is possible or not. So what I want to say, the multiple techniques, even for security awareness has been changed after this pandemic, and we'll have to explore all possible backdoor through that someone can enter, and then not only putting boxes, technology, and improving the process, but the most important thing is people spending money on people security awareness maturity level. That is need of the time. So earlier, if it was not very much emphasized, I think now the time has come to emphasize more on the security maturity level of people using all this. Over to you, Qadir.
I think you very rightly pointed out the critical factors, and I think Mr. Jawad, please continue with the discussion and leveraging Mehzad's point.
Yes, thank you, Abdul Qadir, for having me in the panel, and thank you, Kawal, for arranging this auspicious session for dedicated to security and the security priorities we have, and anticipating priorities on cybersecurity. The topic is very relevant, these days. This global pandemic has really paddled up, the emphasis on e-commerce thing, more emphasis on the buying on through e-commerce and web, stuff like that. While the challenges for us that we as a banking sector is one of the sector that couldn't stop. People has to borrow money, deposit money, save money. They have to run up the business. For that reason, we are quite stringent and we are quite prudent to take up our responsibilities while not giving up any security, security flaws and security gaps in the infrastructure in arranging work from home scenarios. But the thing is, we have seen most of the banks, mostly banks in Pakistan, have shown up the good growth in these pandemic days and years. I believe with my role, with the industry role, with the regulator role, they come up with quite stringent guidelines, quite intelligent guidelines while adhering work from home scenarios. I think we have the realization, banking industry has the realization. One more thing, we have to keep up the business. We have to, synergize the business. Then with this thinking, we have to gear up our infrastructure to support new digital era. I think we banks are quite onto the path while providing much more services on the digital side. I think Mehzad Sahab has covered a lot more things during this pandemic we have faced, like we are facing right now, like phishing, like social engineering kind of things. People are getting victimized. On the other hand, PBA, Pakistan Banking Association, and other stakeholders of the banking industry has issued multiple various messages across the board on electronic media, on radio media, as well as social media. We are quietly, aggressively giving awareness to our customers, to our masses on these channels. I think, but I believe we are doing less, but we are doing something in order to protect the assets in the interest of the people around on the banking channels. Thank you.
That's great. So Fahad, can you please further
जी,
elaborate according to your experience, please?
जी. First of all, Assalamu alaikum everyone, and thank you Abdul Qadir for the kind words and the background. Uh, what I can say is that this COVID and the post-pandemic, it has led us to get into this digital lifestyle, and that's the only positive we can draw it from there. Digital, we used to talk about digital, but the adoption, it has increased with this COVID thing, because the uptake, you see, there were these digital sites previously as well, but the adoption, it has increased during this period, and uh, and we hope that this continues irrespective of the COVID or not. And the greatest challenge would be to establish the controls to ensure that the uptake continues to grow. People adopt these digital channels because that's the way the economy should go on as well. And the challenge would be to give frictionless and yet secure uh, lifestyle or the seamless experience to the consumers. The other challenges, it would be rightly pointed out by both Mehzad and Jawad. There are some technical challenges, but you see, like in COVID as well, the basic thing was to maintain a good hygiene. So with all those security tools and everything at the end, you need those basic hygienes at your end. If you have all those pretty tools, but you don't have the basic cyber hygiene, all those will be of no use. So the challenge would be to adhere to the regulations, understand those regulations, because people tend to misinterpret those regulations. Uh, One of those challenges is to understand the regulation in the right way and implement it in the right way. So my pointers would be good cyber hygiene, understand the regulation well, implement it well. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So obviously, as a preamble, you guys have discussed a lot based on your experience. Now I will further bit of dig down my question towards more specific field and more specific area. Unfortunately, maybe Ashfaque could not join us yet. So his area question or his area would be maybe asked from maybe Mehzad or Jawad or anyone else. So be ready for that question as well. And we guys are always extempore and having a great experience. So, Mehzad, your point of view, your experience, because you have a good experience in banking sector. Actually, I think you have done tri-party, tri-diversified environment study. I think because one, telecom industry, major industry. Second, banking industry. Third is the manufacturing, and I obviously in the conglomerate you have covered or you are covering every industry of the world, I think. So globally, large manufacturing and other industries, unfortunately, recently been shaken by the impact of multiple high-profile IT outages as well as OT outages. So obviously, you would explain us about the OT outages and glitches. Mainly, they have eroded the digital trust, and digital services are actually increasing, intertwined with the complex combination of the layers of IT and OT and process dependencies, including allied application, as we discussed earlier as well. So, Mehzad, based on this experience, how can we balance the innovation? How can we design the governance and identify the set of technology risks to give confidence to your board? Not obviously not an absolute confidence, only a reasonable confidence to large type of organization who are embracing the next digital opportunity and with resiliency. So over to you, Mr. Mehzad.
Thanks, Qadir, for asking for this question, which is lead of the time. Yes, I have been to this all diversified industry, but you are right. Maybe from a distance, it looks like it will be easiest task while just dealing with manufacturing industry. But with all due respect, this type of industry actually is more complicated. Why? Because the type of protocol, which is mostly found under telco, let's say IP, and then mostly SS7 signaling. But in case of bank, mostly we are dealing with IP traffic. But in case of manufacturing, in addition to typical IT traffic, which is IP based, you'll have to go through operational technology network where proprietary protocols are being used, like 50 plus totally different, similar to TCP IP. They have their own mechanism and they utilize this, and you'll have to understand and then go and take security measures accordingly. So it's a really spaghetti. On the other side is the area of Industry Revolution 4, where no manufacturing industry can refrain from not utilizing or digitizing their services. So they'll have to actually introduce business analytics. They'll have to perform business intelligence services. They'll have to actually introduce artificial intelligence to introduce efficient, economical, and more actually future-oriented services. Because a lot of saving is possible while you connect your OT plant with the IT area, with the internet. Then it gives you a lot of visibility, the knowledge base across the world, having similar plants, similar issues that can be utilized to correctly avoid any outage if it happen in other side of the world. However, as you said, IT and OT convergence, yes, they give you a lot of benefits, but in parallel, they introduce a lot of implications. In order to handle such implications, here, the typical CIA equation talk about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Availability is very much important in case of a plant, where if millions of dollars are being actually received as a revenue, a typical 1 hour outage can create a disaster. So the level of pressure is more than sometimes I believe a bank or even a telco. Especially looking at the urgency in case of a unavailability of a service. The industry here, they have introduced similar to ISO 27001, the protocols like IEC 62443. And these type of framework, actually, they have in detail, they have defined what framework is required, what clauses are required, and what type of protocol can be followed to secure this unique area. I remember I used to say, if it is UK, it is like license to operate to first follow these type of standard before they allow you to put your manufacturing plant, online. But it takes time. Of course, we are a growing industry. The realization is happening with a slow pace. But however, in the best possible ways, that I used to say that similar to IT security operation center saw, the OT network also required a 24/7 monitoring. And they have a similar concept of actually monitoring the vulnerabilities, putting sniffers, putting specialized tool. I was surprised, like there is something called, for example, for your knowledge, data diodes, means where actually traffic can only go into one direction and bi-directional traffic is impossible. So in this case, it can give you assurance that yes, we can exchange data in the name of digitization, but actually it is one way and no one can try to compromise the inside traffic to reduce any disaster. So very specialized tools are available, techniques are available, and with the help of that, OT related security operation center can be made, which can give you visibility across all applicable vulnerabilities, and not only vulnerability. God forbid if some plants are being connected or found with the notorious command and control center, that can be also detected on timely basis to avoid any inconvenience. Because imagine in case of a normal command and control center compromise CNC, they can actually go and make your endpoint non-functional, but in this case, they can actually make your plant unfunctional. So that's more serious. We have seen what happened recently in Iran, that they took the control in the supply chain of fuel supply, where the longer lanes were found. People were waiting for the fuel supply, and not only that, hackers, they were able to actually, on the big signboard, they were able to put slogan against the government. So on the same petrol pump, imagine, first, you are not finding the fuel. Second thing is, the same petrol pump fuel center is showing slogan against the political leadership. So that was really, strange and eye-opening and shocking that and that this type of OT plant and OT supply chain cybersecurity attack can actually turn into a national disaster. So this is totally a new wave that we have noticed, and then the global world is looking at this very seriously. And so, in addition to telco and healthcare and banking industry, the cybersecurity risk against manufacturing they are being realized. And to be honest, as per IBM, I was reading IBM report where out of top 10 big industry, they have found after financial industry, second industry in which hackers are taking interest is the manufacturing and energy sector. So I will say the time has come where these things should be taken very seriously, not only from the plant ownership, but also from the regulator and also at the government level. And inshallah, this is a gradual journey, and we will keep on improving and each and every day actually add more and more value. Thank you. Over to
excellent
Qadir.
explanation, Mehzad. Excellent explanation. और I think आपने वो कहते हैं ना, दरिया को उठा के पूरे कूजे में बंद कर दिया इतनी देर में, 4 से 5 मिनट में, and it was a really a great learning experience for me as well. So Mehzad, after that, Jawad, more towards twisting towards, because you are have a leading role in financial industry and being a chairman of the Cybersecurity Association as well. So based on your diversified experience, you have worked with IT and cybersecurity. Now, please advise organization how can evaluate their cybersecurity readiness, and what are your recommendation and potential solution and countermeasures. Please note के अब देखिए लगा दिया, risk assessment हो गई, framework हो गया, implementation हो गई, we have implemented defense in-depth controls, वो कहा के वो मशहूर ज़माना virtual patching भी लगा दी, पूरे mechanism build हैं, everything is done. So now Jawad, please advise के यार अब cyber incident response के लिए आपको क्या चाहिए? Not I'm not asking about your Pakistani banking sector, because maybe there are some glitches. हम अभी तो अमन में आए हैं 3-4 साल पहले, अभी तो we are in the more towards evolving or improvement of the financial sector or cybersecurity posture or digital posture. But based on your experience, क्या होना चाहिए अदब साइबर सिक्योरिटी इंसिडेंट रिस्पांस के, इंसिडेंट होने के बाद, इंसिडेंट होने से पहले, इंसिडेंट होने की इन्वेस्टिगेशन के वक्त, थोड़ा सा प्लीज अपने एक्सपीरियंस से शेयर करें प्लीज.
Thank you, Qadir. You have elaborated much more. आपने जो है ना वो समंदर और दरिया दोनों कूजे में बंद कर दिए, मेरे बोलने के लिए कुछ नहीं छोड़ा आपने. Nevertheless, very spot on and very well pointed question, no doubt about it. Actually, the dilemma of our nation is we are reactive by DNA, right? We are not thinking proactively as a collectively. Matlab, you see right from the top tier fabric till the down tier management level organizations, we are reactive in nature by any means. In home, in domestic cores, we also prefer to a much more dekha dekhenge kya hoga. We since study in UET, we spend more time in moving around here and there, but let's see, we are waiting for the exams to study at the end. We are reactive in nature by the fabric and by the DNA, right? This DNA inculcate towards our organizations, naturally towards our organizations. Now this fraternity has changed. Now we have to think much more reactively thanks to the leadership of this country, and thanks to the regulators around, which really feel the need to address cybersecurity and its allied things, because we have witnessed some attacks on different institutions, on a financial industry. Now we have to think more reactively onto that. My 1 cent to it, that we have built certain controls. You said earlier, we have developed defense in depth. We have famously deployed virtual patching kind of things. But more of my area of concern is, once incident occurred, but we have to do, or how we prepare ourselves for the incidents. My suggestion, आज ही मैंने suggestion for the banking industry के लिए finalize हमने करी है. We are suggesting that financial industry should ensure themselves, at least in a year, just like business continuity, they have to assure themselves that if in case of any incident, how they react. Need to build some tabletop or simulation exercises in between. They have to get into it. In the case of incident, we have witnessed that so much sluggish statements, so much lousy statements were coming out. I think we are not yet ready and not realizing this fact that post-incident and pre-incident kind of things are very, very much important. And I think we have to go just like we are already built resilience on the business continuity side, but we have to assure ourselves, at least on a yearly basis, that our security controls are well in place, well educated, and we will respond well in time. In case of any incident, how we respond, we have to get all these things. I think we are certainly moving towards that thing, but I think long way to go, but we are certainly moving towards that thing. I think my 1 sentence is there.
Qadir, if you want, can I say something? If you want, can I say something here?
Yeah, sure, please.
I would like to share one good example. Once I was in Do Telecom, Dubai, and we were having annual dinner, for the celebration after, making a lot of revenue, and the party was going on. And suddenly we discovered that our CERT manager, he got a call that actually there is an attack going on against the organization. So he left the place from the party with his team, and then he went there and then tried to recover. And later on, what we discovered, this was a planted attack from the board of directors. And they want to see that during the party and during the celebration where everyone is just concentrating, can we really prove that we are having an actual 24/7 service where a proper security monitoring and protection services are never sleeping and they remain awake and they are always available even during party time. I think these type of things needs to be introduced here, where not only table talk, but actually surprise audit, surprise DCP DR should be activated, where people should receive this type of panic call, and then we should gauge them according to their response time. Thank you.
Very good point and very good example. But yes, Jawad, please.
जी बिल्कुल. Mehzad sahab has deeply, I think, more elaborated my concept. I think he spotted that very well, that we have became surprise drills are part of the simulation exercises. But the thing is, start to ho kahin se, itna mature ho to sahi. Then I think these are the things that needs to be done. Apart from the countermeasures, I think most of the organizations are building upon SOC that manage defense response services, then incident retainer services for any hiccup that comes to the environment. I think these are the countermeasures that you can build upon.
Very good explanation by both the leaders. And but luckily, I would now request Mr. Kaval and his team के यार ये BOD को मत भेज दें ये वाली ऑडियो, वरना महजाद का जो पॉइंट है ना डू टेलीकॉम वाला, वो बीओडी जो है ना हमारी सारी सेलिब्रेशंस को खराब कर देंगे और किसी वक्त कोई भी साइबर इंसिडेंट रिस्पॉन्स करवा देंगे. बट एनीवेज, I would now request my dear fellow Ashfaque, and I would club my both the questions, because my first question was mainly related to the challenges faced in your organization, not for the technology, but the technology and cybersecurity both. And obviously, Ashfaque, you know that regulators are now advising to opt digital transformation with cybersecurity leading certification standards for your industry also. And on the contrary, your industry is also growing towards insurtech. So Ashfaque, because you are the only one on the other side of table as a digital transformation executor and implementer, we all four are supporting the digital transformation initiative, but you are the main stakeholder of that. So based on your vast experience, how organizations should maintain balance between that digital transformation process and the cybersecurity, and ensuring continuing business operation through this time, and obviously rehearse a holistic capability to maintain the governance while no compromising on this transformation or insurtech initiative. So over to you, Ashfaque. You have 5 minutes to elaborate both the questions in single go.
Qadir bhai, that's इतना detailed सवाल का 5 मिनट में जवाब कैसे हो सकता है? But okay, let me try.
सवाल से पहले it was just my preamble to create the environment, and then the question is the balancing the innovation. How you are creating the innovation? I know, but I want that 1,000 people will also know about your initiatives and your working and your recommendations.
Actually, first of all, I'm not a cybersecurity expert. I'm sitting, but this is such a honor to sit with this renowned cybersecurity experts. And जितना कुछ मैं कह पाऊंगा उससे बहुत ज़्यादा जो है पहले चीज़ें आ चुकी हैं टेबल के ऊपर. But the industry that I belong, insurance, it's basically is growing nowadays. ठीक है, बहुत सारा कुछ हो रहा है. The investment is coming towards this side. और digitalization पे बहुत ज़्यादा काम हो रहा है. I'm the one who basically trying to balance between the digitalization as well as actually the security measures as well. So the team is there, they are managing the security part. Cyber security in the recent few years, बहुत सारे cyber attacks all around the world we have been witness in insurance side as well. Since insurance industry is in Pakistan is transforming and a lot of digitalization is happening in this industry, the changes of being had is also increasing because everybody is now trying to actually go digital. Majority of our organization is creating different kind of solution that works over the internet. So to ensure the data protection and safeguard our policyholder information, that's important. In insurance, that's we don't have the financial majority of the financial actually transactions. We basically also have to safeguard our policyholder information, not only actually for the competitor as well as actually within the organization. So we have a great challenge to handle this. There is a need of taking some bold measures that we are taking on an insurance side. The other organizations also working on that part. And recently we have witnessed that our regulator also serious to enforce the cyber security for this protection of customer financial data and the customer data. Recently SSCP also actually issued a guidelines of cyber security framework for the insurance sector, and the objective is to providing principle to make the information technology system for insurance company and their partner to secure things. on a digital side, if you basically witness that there's a lot of aggregators are coming, telcos are trying to come into the insurance side, and this everything has been happening over the internet. So what we are trying to do is basically we are now proposing actually our partner because most of the data is coming from their side, and we only process it and given them the results. So I always recommend to the organization, especially the organization that have a tag of InsurTag, to start with simple and small things. Try to test it on not only from the user journey end, but actually also try to test it on the security part of that. And one another thing that we learn, we learn from Qadir bhai, that the security is not only the responsibility of security department, it's actually a responsibility of everybody. So whoever is basically involved in this process, we basically what we do is actually we try to give all whatever our connection level is, we try to basically put the head of security as well. And whatever connection is been happening between, like either we are going on a cloud things, we are basically creating some databases on the for anybody front end touch points. Like recently we have basically launched a thing with Nadra, that's a BIOSys thing. Yes, everything is being basically we trying to basically go in the with the security. And some advices that from the experts like a Qadir bhai and the other, actually that's we have taken on board to them as well. I try to basically get some assessments. That's one of the things that we recently did, that actually we have launched our agent app. And agent app is like we have a large in huge actually sales force. So what we did is basically we have tried to basically penetrate penetration testing on that, and we've tried to basically see that what are the vulnerabilities in that, and we have tried to fix before going live. So whatever actually that's whatever we are basically is doing now, this security is part and parcel of that thing. Whatever application that's been going live, we need to basically also actually comply the SCCP security guidelines as well. So the awareness is coming in the insurance organizations as well. I basically dream a day that some of this panel, one of the member of this panel should work for the insurance industries as well. So that's a time will be come, and realization, the importance are coming into the account, the management, this board level, that senior people are like trying to basically we are trying to basically convince them to invest on that part as well. So that's a growing industry, and I hope the security things will be taken into the account as a mainstream things in the very near future.
Excellent point, and वाकई अशफाक जो solid point आपने बताया कि before developing the software and before go live the software, we should pass it through SCCP directive, which is actually meant towards secure coding practices actually, because I have been associated with, I think, more than 200 big level of application assessment, and we have seen the single matter and common matter in every implementation, every application, that they usually not following the secure coding guidelines, which is the most poorest manner in for the developers, for the digital transformation specialist, and for us being a consultant. So excellent point, Ashfaque. And Fahd, last but not least, because you are associated with Best Bank of Pakistan as per the awards of 2020 and I think recent CF award, and you are innovating and creating new solutions at rapid speed. And but you also know that not only based on your experience and not only based on Meezan based culture or Meezan bank transformation or the any other bank of Pakistan. I'm just asking about the overall in the world financial sector. People are said that there are only two type of companies: one who have been hacked and others who don't know. So, do you think operating a digital bank securely is going to be an easy game now? And can you please highlight or elaborate something regarding security awareness for your customer, for your vendors, for your sticky stakeholders? And if there is any challenges, please let me know.
Well, thank you, Qadir. First of all, from the CISO fraternity, I guess, जो हम लोग बाकी लोग बैठे हैं panel में, we should must appreciate Ashfaque because it was like business talking cyber security is very important. So kudos to his whoever the IT security guy is over there, कि वो at least उनकी बातें इस forum में आके कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि देखिए सारे जो डिजिटल बैंकिंग या डिजिटल लाइफस्टाइल के जो चैलेंजेस हैं इसमें नॉट ओनली वन फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन या फाइनेंशियल इंडस्ट्री, इट्स अ कन्वर्जेंस ऑफ इंडस्ट्री एज वेल, और बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूशंस कनेक्टेड हैं लाइक इंश्योरेंस, लाइक एनी अदर एल्स, क्योंकि they are managing the same kind of data, demographic customer का सेम रहता है चाहे वो फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन हो या इंश्योरेंस में. So वहाँ पे if the realization is over there as well, which is very important because each one of us has to protect those data, otherwise वो कहीं से भी use हो सकता है. It's not only the ecosystem of an institution, ये जो पूरे industry का ecosystem है जिसमें और भी लोग connected हैं, it should all be like secured and ताकि overall industry आपकी पे secure हो. The other challenges, one of the challenges है कि जो भी लोग आपके connect हो रहे हैं, whether it be B2B, B2C और जो है इन सबको secure रखना, awareness इस level पे करना, be it your customer, your staff, your lowest staff or your highest privileged staff. जैसे example दी जो कि हमें आपने बोला है कि उसको cut करना है, तो उस level पे भी awareness and जो lift में आपका liftman है उसकी भी awareness किसी हद तक. So awareness at different levels within the organization, outside the organization, and maybe your family as well. क्योंकि अब जो हम ये डिजिटल वर्ल्ड में आ गए हैं, होम स्कूलिंग भी स्टार्ट हो गए एंड ऑलमोस्ट मेक श्योर कि मैं ये बात भी करूं, हम जो फोन नहीं देने वाले थे अब 3 साल के बच्चे को भी दे रहे हैं. तो वी नीड टू एजुकेट आवर किड्स एज वेल, आवर फैमिली एज वेल, क्योंकि आपकी वालदा, आपके वालिद आपसे किसी भाई या बहन से अब सब बात कर रहे हैं बाहर. So they are the most vulnerable one जिनको टारगेट किया जाए for any financial frauds. तो हमें उस लेवल पे भी अवेयरनेस करनी है at different stages, and again kudos to the PBA and other and the regulator as well कि जिन्होंने अभी recently telecom campaigns वगैरह के ad दिए, और ये ads थोड़े catchy होने चाहिए, which was the right thing to do about this ad, क्योंकि वो basic सा एक वो डराने वाला होता तो वो back of the mind रहता नहीं है. तो रिसेंट जो अभी एड्स हैं उनकी अच्छी बात ये थी कि दे वर अट्रैक्टिव, तो अट्रैक्टिव होंगे तो पीपल कैन मे बी ट्यून से या कुछ से देन दे कैन रिलेट एज वेल. सो देयर आर फ्यू थिंग्स व्हिच शुड बी अप्रिशिएटेड एंड उसको अप्रिशिएट करना चाहिए कि जो अवेयरनेस लेवल पे कुछ चीजें हो रही हैं. पीबीए फोरम में जवाद इज वेरी लाइक एक्टिव और हमारे साथ वो कोलैबोरेट करते हैं, एंड मे बी एट सर्टेन स्टेज ये सिर्फ पीबीए फॉर बैंकिंग नहीं होने चाहिए, 1-2 फोरम और इंस्टीट्यूशंस को थोड़ा सा एडअप होना चाहिए जिसमें इंश्योरेंस टाइप कुछ है. और जहाँ हमारी बात पहले हुई कि जी इंसिडेंट रिस्पांस की, तो बिल्कुल हो, हम रिस्क असेसमेंट की बात करते हैं, एक और एक कैची वर्ड आ गया जी सिनेरियो बेस्ड रिस्क असेसमेंट. तो ये सिनेरियो क्या है, यही है ना कि अगर कोई अटैक होता है तो आप क्या करेंगे, हाउ टू यू वुड रिएक्ट. सो बहुत 50 सिनेरियोज बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है, 2-3 बनाएं जो इंडस्ट्री से रेलेवेंट हो, उसको देखें, एंड मे बी फ्यू लाइक माइंडेड सीसोज या लोग बैठे वो टेम्पलेट तैयार करें फॉर द एंटायर इंडस्ट्री और मे बी लेटर ऑन फॉर द अदर पार्ट्स एज वेल, कि देखें कि हाउ टू रिएक्ट, क्योंकि एक्चुअल में डिटेक्ट भी शायद हो जाता होगा रिएक्ट कैसे करना है नहीं पता। दैट्स अ वेरी इंसेप्शन स्टेट। अभी हम रिएक्ट वैसे ही करते हैं, आई एम सॉरी मैं बार बार कोविड को रिलेट करता हूँ, रिएक्ट वैसे ही करते हैं जैसे पहला कोई कोविड का मरीज था ना जो हुआ आइडेंटिफाई हुआ, तो ये उसमें उसको एकदम अलग साइड असाइड कर दिया। So it's a very inception state right now. So all of us should sit together, develop a proper response plan, and then जैसे इन्होंने बोला कि रोल प्ले करें, ड्रिल करें, क्योंकि अभी क्या करेंगे, सब गूगल करके एक डॉक्यूमेंट बना देंगे। तो ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करेंगे तो मे बी अच्छा आइडिया मेरी तरफ से, आपकी तरफ से, किसी और की तरफ से आएगा, 10 बार उसमें करेक्शन होगी, एंड मे बी वी विल एंड अप विद अ फाइन डॉक्यूमेंट।
Excellent. I think it was an excellent learning curve for me as well, and listening to 4 obviously leaders, special leaders, and having their heart outs. And now and special thanks to Mr. Ashfaque, who got unfortunately a bit of car incident, and he only joined us on our behalf. So special kudos to him, double kudos to him.
My question to Ashfaque, insurance claim हो गई?
हो जाएगी साहब। हमारी भी नहीं होगी तो किसकी होगी?
And in all well that ends well, and अल्लाह ताला आपको जिंदगी दे and सेहत दे। सेहत सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, ये फिजिकल मैटर्स तो होते रहते हैं। So my key takeaways for today's topic are actually और जो मैं आप लोगों से सबसे लर्न किया, which is I think clear and agile cyber security transformation strategy and framework, where as suggested by Mehzad and obviously highlighted by Fahd. Obviously, to implement that, a strong and cyber security aware workforce. But if the cyber security aware workforce and customers are not there, you cannot implement the cyber security strategy. Obviously, supported, zealous and dedicated leadership from the government level, from the sector level that take ownership. You will have to implement defense in depth controls for IT, OT, infrastructure, for everything. And last but not least, Pakistan needs a really resilient and digitally secured ecosystem to support this digital trust process, as we discussed during this 50-minute session. And thank you, special thanks for CISO Global Forum. And my last couplet, and I would close my session. खुदा करे कि मेरे अर्ज़े पाक पे उतरे वो फसले गुल जिसे अंदेशा ज़वाल ना हो। यहाँ जो फूल खिले वो खिला रहे सदियों, यहाँ ख़िज़ा को गुजरने की भी मजाल ना हो।